My mom and I sat and watching Blind Melon's new music video, No Rain. She enthusiastically tapped her Birkenstock to the beat and sang along. All I can say is that my life is pretty plain. I like watching the puddles gather rain. Would you look at that cute little bee girl? She's just precious. She reminds me of you. I knew she meant it as a genuine compliment, but even at 10, I was aware that my mother's observation was painfully accurate. I've been taking tap lessons since I was 2 and filled out a sequin leotard in the exact same way as the bee girl. Pear-shaped and four-eyed. Look out, Mary-Kate and Ashley. A new set of twins have arrived. I was hoping that my mom would be the only person that noticed, but as the song's popularity grew, so did everyone's awareness that I was the local bee girl. Suddenly, I was offended by anyone asking me if I tap danced. Truly grateful for one-hit wonders, by 1994, the bee girl comparison seemed to have expired. Having been a preteen that sought my identity through music, I was stuck in a pop culture purgatory between bitches and hoes anthems and grunge bands screaming about road rage. There was little left for a girl that had just started her period and only kissed her dogs. So far, music taught me that I was only good for sex and should probably stick to riding my bike. None of it gave me butterflies or made me feel desired. After school one day, I plopped down on the couch with a bag of bugles and switched on MTV. Within seconds, my entire body was in sensory overload. My heart filled with a level of excitement that paralleled Christmas morning. The lower half of my body was Twitter-pated, like the feeling I get when the jets hit my crotch in my grandparents' jacuzzi. On the screen were 4 dapper gentlemen, dressed in various shades of white, singing an angelic anthem about making love. Not screwing a hoe or doing the Humpty dance. Making love. They were a class act, catering their song to the needs of a female. These were the type of musicians that allowed me to escape from my life of unreciprocated crushes and trite excitement over a new Dorito flavor. I tingled all over. I'll Make Love to You by Boyz II Men was the root of my sexual awakening. I gathered the allowance I'd been saving and walked down to the warehouse to pick up their cassette. By the end of the week, I'd memorized every song and spent my afternoon slow dancing to them with a body pillow. I'd alternate band members. Sean and I would start out and I'll Make Love to You, and then Michael would ask to cut in during On Bended Knee. Occasionally, we'd throw it back and freak dance to Motown Philly. It was hot. Certainly not something the B-girl would do. I'd given up tap and taken on true love. The boys understood every bit of heartache I'd been through. Up until then, my love life consisted of rejection and an empty Valentine's box. I was Charlie Brown with a vagina. The boys were gods, and I worshiped them wholeheartedly, walking around school with their lyrics written all over my Trapper Keeper. But the sad reality was that no matter how close I held their music to my heart, I'd never get a chance to hold them. We lived too far apart, and the age difference would probably be an issue. One day, during math class, I heard the faint buzzing of music through someone's headphones and realized the girl next to me was listening to my favorite Boyz II Men song, Water Runs Dry. Her name was Carrie. She was just an acquaintance, but now that I knew she was into the boys, we'd have lots to talk about. Psst, Carrie. I waved my hand, getting her attention, and put my hands up to my ears, miming the removal of headphones from one's head. "What's up?" She nodded. "I love Water Runs Dry. It's like the boys know my soul," I said. "It's pretty catchy. I'm going to see them live in a couple of weeks. Should be dope," she said. "Really? Oh my God, I would kill to see them live." "Well, we've got an extra ticket. My cousin was supposed to come with, but she says she's over them. You want to come?" "Of course! Oh my God, you don't know how much this means to me." I couldn't concentrate on anything else. This sort of opportunity would only come along once in a lifetime. And here I was, thinking that we would be so far apart, that it couldn't possibly work out, that I'd remain just a distant fan. In a matter of 10 days, I'd be sitting in an auditorium, listening to the loves of my life, singing their plush harmonies just for me. My mom took me shopping for the special occasion. I needed an outfit that screamed maturity. A mashup of hip-hop and trendiness. No sequins, no yellow, no black, no B-girl. I finally put together baggy denim shortalls and a baby doll tee with a red flannel. This was head-turning material. I would be the Courtney Cox to their Springsteen. Finally, the night arrived. I gave myself a once-over in the mirror. Lips, frosted. Outfit, fresh. Things were about to change forever. When we got to the venue, I was shaking. It didn't feel real. They were so close. No dry humping body pillows and rewinding cassettes. Our bodies actually touching. "Let's go get some snacks," Carrie said. I couldn't eat. There was no room in my stomach for food, but I was so anxious that my mouth was getting dry. I needed to hydrate. After all, I was going to be screaming their names all night. I bought an extra large Jolt Cola. On the cup was a screen print of the boys. A cool souvenir for now, but once we were in a relationship, we'd laugh about my fandom. We headed into the crowd. I became abruptly aware of my place in the universe that was Teeny Boppers. This was much bigger than the assembly-sized concert I'd imagined. How would the boys notice me now? It was like the biggest Where's Waldo picture ever made. I followed Carrie and her mom, assuming we were headed down to the floor, but we went upstairs instead, now patrons of the nosebleed section. The stage looked like a diving board for ants. Fighting off disappointment, I looked over and up. Installed on each side of the stage were extendable platforms, meaning there was a chance that the boys would be making their way out into the crowd, making their way toward me, toward love, toward making love. The house lights went down, the spotlights went on, and there they were, glistening like a mirage in a desert filled with exclamation perfume, teen spirit, and pubescence. Close your eyes, make a wish, and blow out the candle lights. I lifted my arms up and swayed to the music, closing my eyes because they told me to. Each member passed out a white rose to a screaming fan. Those bitches. That could have been me. These seats were bullshit. My envy took me out of the moment until we don't even talk anymore. Water Runs Dry. The song I'd been waiting for. Back in the spirit of things, I started jumping up and down, more excited than I'd been when we first arrived. The lights shifted. Sean and Michael were on the extendable stages and floating overhead. This was going to be the moment everything came together, the moment to be noticed in a crowd of thousands. I unhooked the straps of my shortalls, hoping to call attention to my breasts. I was wild. That tingly feeling consumed my lower half. But this wasn't hormones. It was my bladder. And everything that was in it being bounced around. No, 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 no. I'll just hold it. I cannot spend this magical time in a public restroom. Sean and Michael are right above me. All they have to do is look down. I am too close to blow this. But I no longer had a choice. I was pissing my short-alls during Water Runs Fucking Dry. An extra large Jolt Cola's worth of warm urine was coming out of me like lava, rushing down my legs. In combat with the horror, I took off my flannel and tied it around my waist. I grabbed some used napkins off the floor to wipe down my legs. The prior owner of the napkins had clearly consumed nacho cheese. But when you've pissed your pants at a Boyz II Men concert, you don't really give a shit about spreading Velveeta remnants on your thighs. The smell of urine and nacho cheese had taken over the air. Carrie and her mom briefly sniffed the air, making who farted faces. But the concert was so enthralling, they quickly moved on. The adhesive created by my piss and Velveeta caused my thighs to stick together even more than usual. Chafing was underway. Fog canvassed my glasses and tears rolled down my cheeks. I thought I might cry tonight, but out of happiness or being touched by a romantic gesture. The harsh reality had set in. I was still that little bee girl, destined to be laughed off stage. I wasn't going to meet Boyz II Men. They weren't going to be interested in the chubby girl with glasses that wet her short-alls. They had thousands of fans and led glamorous lives, and all I could say was that my life was pretty plain. Thank you.
That was Esther Woodman.